Can you tell me more about the narrative behind being a family-run holiday park and what that means to the customer?
What customers seem to suggest to me the difference is between a family-run holiday park and, for example, a chain or a corporate park is that they feel a little bit less like numbers here. If you think, especially people who are running more than one park, they might have a certain number of sales they want to do a year. They might have a certain number of sales they want to do per pitch. So, for example, they might want every pitch to turn over every 3 years or whatever. With a family-run holiday park, we have a much more longer-term vision, a much longer time horizon. So I'm not thinking of things in a 5-year plan. I'm thinking of what's it going to be like in 50 years' time. There's also a big fear about holiday parks selling up to other operators. In our case, we wouldn't do that because we're tied into the Burton Constable Foundation across the road. We live next door. We have no interest in someone else running a holiday park and being less scrupulous about who they have onto their park. I do all of our sales and I'm not on commission. So I'm not just trying to get anyone in to sell them anything. I'm trying to get the right customers to the right units. And it's more of a question of fit than of sale. We also have very personal relationships with our customers because if you think about our strategic priorities as a business, we're not thinking, let's do volume of sales. What I want for our business is to get long-term, multi-generational customers into the holiday park. To my mind, if I'm going to be here for 30 years, I would quite like the same families who've got holiday homes now to have holiday homes in 30 years' time. It makes life considerably easier for me if when people come to the end of their useful life of their caravan or their lodge and they're thinking about whether they should upgrade, if their grandkids have been coming here for decades and have wonderful memories here, and the grandkids are pestering them saying, go on, granddad, we really want a lodge. Well, come on, we've got to stay here. Come on, we want to take our kids here. That makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think there's also security for the customer in that they have a face of someone they know is going to be there and they're not at the whims of boards of companies that might make policy changes. They generally feel they have much more of a say in the business. So, for example, that's why we have our owner summits. So we have owner summits at the start of the year where we explain what we, the team, are looking to do, and we collect feedback and we ask where the owners think we should focus, and then at the end of the season we'll have a mop-up meeting where we go, right, how did the season go? What was good? What was bad? It's also a good way for me to be held account to all of the rogue promises that I might make in the owner summits. Because ultimately, Mum and I don't run the holiday park for ourselves. We'd be pretty stupid to do that. We run it for the customers. So our priority is happy, long-term customers. Moreover, because we have this long-term view, our business is in selling holidays and selling holiday homes. We want to keep our customers for as long as possible, so we're not looking to squeeze them at every turn. For example, our pitch fees are designed to cover the cost of running the holiday park. They're not designed as something that we can crank up by £1,000 to make up for a bad sales year or to pay dividends to shareholders. I think that customers generally feel a sense of security, but also investment in the place. Because we're a family business, we've been on this site for 900 years. We're not going anywhere very soon, and I think customers enjoy being part of the broader community at Burton Constable. There's the Burton Constable Foundation, which has events all through the year. There's the Sprotely nearby with its pubs and shops. It's a very quiet and friendly corner of the world, and I think our customers enjoy being part of that family.
What is the reason behind license length, and why is it such a point of contention in the industry? So
there are two reasons that we have license lengths. One is quite simply expectation management, because caravans, though they're very well built, they're not built to last forever. They do have a natural life, and it's to manage customers' expectations on that point. The second point is to encourage customers to keep their holiday homes looking nice, because you don't really want a holiday park that's full of beaten up ancient caravans that no one's looked after, because it sort of lets the side down a bit. What happens when you get to the end of the license is that it triggers a conversation. Now, ideally, you get to the end of your license, you start thinking, okay, now I'm going to upgrade into a very expensive lodge. That's very much my favourite solution. But sometimes people aren't in the position to upgrade, or they love their holiday home, they've looked after it really well, and they really want to stay on the park. And so when they get to the end of the license, that triggers a conversation, and we say, if it looks all right, if the customer likes us, and if we like the customer, then we'll extend it on a year-by-year basis. There are two reasons really why we have the license length at all. The first, as I say earlier, is the expectation management. The second is tied up in us being a family business. I'm actually very suspicious of parks that don't have license lengths for their holiday homes because then the condition of the holiday home is exclusively in the hands of the parks. That is to say, people are not thinking about how good their holiday home has to look, how much they have to look after it. They're just thinking, oh, well, it's there forever and that's fine. And then the holiday park comes up and says, I'm afraid your caravan's looking a bit tired. It needs to get off. To my mind, it's a bit of a red flag when holiday parks don't have license lengths, because I think they're thinking, there's no way that this holiday home is going to be here in 15 years or 20 years. We don't even need to think about that because we'll kick it off before that, or we'll make them upgrade or whatever. Whereas in our case, we like customers to be aware that A, they're buying something that has a natural lifespan, and they can extend that lifespan by looking after the holiday home, but they shouldn't be complacent about it. But B, it helps them look after the holiday home and keeps them aware of when we're going to be having a conversation about whether their holiday home looks all right or not. And it also triggers that conversation automatically. We have very personal relationships with our owners, very often over decades. If we didn't have license lengths at all, and I came up to you and said, I'm sorry, Harry, your holiday home is looking a bit scruffy. You're going to have to do something about it. You might say, well, Dave's is way worse than mine, or Julie's is way older than mine. It's like I've singled you out. We want to take that element out of it. We're running a business, obviously, but these are businesses which have decades-long friendships involved, and it takes the personal out of it. It just triggers the conversation automatically. So when people buy a holiday home, the value of that is really in two parts. There's the nuts and bolts of the holiday home itself. To be crude, and I always say this to customers when they're thinking of buying, because just in case they're under any illusions, and they might think of buying a caravan as like buying bricks and mortar. If you think of a caravan as a tin box, it doesn't cost a huge amount to manufacture, but there's a huge difference between the value of a tin box in a muddy field in the middle of nowhere and a tin box on a 5-star holiday park with 18th century capability brown landscape, a bar that's open all year round, a wonderful team in reception looking after them, maintenance for the whole year round of the grounds, an arboretum with 200 types of tree, tennis courts, playing fields, a shop, access to Burton Constable across the way. There's a big difference between that holiday home on that pitch with a view of the lakes and 20-minute walk from fishing to a holiday home that's kept in a supermarket car park, for example. And the value of the license compared to the value of the holiday home itself often depends on the age of the unit. So, for example, and this is true of any holiday park, you might have a caravan which is worth £5,000 to a trader, but which is on a lakeside pitch, look with a fantastic view and a nice license. That might sell for £25,000. In that case, the license is worth £20,000 of the £25,000 price tag. Right. Whereas if people get a brand new caravan, that might sell for the sake of argument, £60,000, but it might cost £45,000 to manufacture. The margin to the park is much smaller proportionally to the overall price tag for a newer caravan. So that's why, for example, when we talk to customers about their options for selling their holiday home at the end of their license, or if they have to move off park for any reason, we say that they have three options. They can either sell privately, which we encourage, or they can sell to us if we want to buy it, or they can sell to a trader. Now, we always advise people to, if they can, sell privately, because then you can sell the park. You can sell for whatever price you want, because their caravan might be worth X, but the caravan on the pitch is worth Y. That's why we take a commission. I think all parks do. I think we charge 15%, but that's because if they're selling their holiday home for £15,000 and actually the holiday home itself is worth £2,000, the majority of that value is in the park itself that they're selling. So that's why we take a commission on private sales, and I think all parks do, because we're the ones who are providing the value. If they sell to us or to a trader, they get the trade value of the unit. So what the nuts and bolts of it are. Because with respect, you can't sell us our own park back to us. If you see what I mean. Yeah. And a trader just sees the caravan itself off park. So as a family business, we have a much longer time horizon than a corporate or a chain. Our priority is having long-term, multi-generational customers. The luxury we have is a lot of space. We're a 100-acre park with a huge amount of space, but 400 pitches, of which we have maybe 50 high-end holiday rentals and 350 holiday homeowners. So if you think about the natural churn, the natural sort of life cycle of holiday homeowners, people's situations change all the time. They might be in a situation where they decide they don't want to keep their holiday home anymore, whether their financial situation's changed, or they've moved further away, or they're not getting the use out of it that they want, or they've got medical changes, or they decide they just want to have a new adventure. There are a myriad reasons why people might naturally come to the end of their relationship with the holiday park, and we shake hands and move on. And that rate is usually about 10% a year. Yeah. So if you think about our kind of overarching holiday homeowner profiles, we've got 350 bases for holiday homeowners. There's 35 bases coming free a year that we could take a caravan off and put a new caravan on and sell it. Yeah. Now, I'll be really honest, my first love is not selling caravans. I really enjoy running the park. I really enjoy the customer element of it. I really enjoy the marketing, investing in the park, developing new things. Going out, generating leads, selling holiday homes is not my first love. 35 bases coming free a year is more than enough for us to be getting on with. There's no reason for us to be kicking people off because they've reached the end of their license. Because of our size, we've got more than enough to be getting on with. A lot of holiday salespeople will be thinking of doing 50 deals a year. So 50 sales a year, one a week. We're much happier with a smaller number of sales. One of the things we've got with our Bring On campaign that's going on at the minute is that I think people are slightly disillusioned with their holiday parks, and they may have been pressured to buy and they've bought a holiday home. And the operator of the holiday park isn't necessarily what they thought they were. And there's quite a lot of people who are bringing their holiday homes to us, and that to us is absolutely fine because we've got quite a few empty bases. Very happy to have nice customers who come to us for a couple of decades and make the place lovely, make the place nice. We're not going to fill all those bases with holiday homes and sell them, because selling is not a huge part of our lives. I think if we can help people who love their holiday homes but have fallen out of love with their holiday parks, then that's fantastic. So people who come here seem to like us because they get more value for their money, whether it's the fact that we charge a lower pitch fee because we're not looking to profiteer off pitch fees, or because we have excellent facilities, or because we're family run and they can put a face to a name. There's 100 reasons why our Bring On campaign seems to be resonating with people, and that's, to be honest, where we're focusing quite a lot of our energy there. What I think we should do is a nice thing is we should wait till the DVD logo sort of actually hits the corner, and then we can cut in.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It was literally then. This is the worst thing when you're trying to do something and it works too well.
Yeah.